Hey guys, welcome back to Back Pocket Game Reviews, and today we're gonna review the Switch, which I got my guy right here. We're gonna go over some of the accessories, just the all-around review of the console. None of it's going to feature gameplay, just because most of what I have to show you is physical, and I can't record straight from the tablet. I would have to record while it's docked. The dock for it is very small. It has 3 USB ports, one of which is a USB 3.0 port. So you could plug in a higher powered 3.0 flash drive and be able to save stuff to it like that. But that stuff would only be saved so long as it's docked. The nice part, and one of the things I haven't really seen too many people talk about with the Switch, so you have your home button, but over here is actually a screenshot button. So Nintendo went a little more shareable than what they normally do, and you can hit that button and it'll let you share to Facebook or Twitter, which is nice. Some of you have seen some of my Twitter screenshots that I've posted. If you do want to check some of them out or follow me on Twitter, that is linked in the description box down below. The overall console is very nice. A lot of people were complaining about the kickstand being too incapable. Kickstand's just fine, works perfectly. Honestly, most of the time I'm playing it like this. Occasionally I'll drop it and hook it up to the TV, but the issue is mostly what I've been playing is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is phenomenal, by the way. You'll see in my review, but I will tell you this, that game is near flawless. A lot of changes, a lot of new things. I mean, they made huge strides for that series. But most of the time, I'm playing it as a handheld, which is super convenient. It does have the the USB-C port down here. And then you also have a little slot, which I gotta remember where it is, for your micro SD cards. Oh, it's right under the kickstand. So underneath your kickstand here is where your micro SD cards go. You probably can't really see that too well, but it's right under there. It has decent sound quality too, like shockingly good sound quality. And then it has a little port up here for your game cards, the 3.5mm audio jack, and you know, all the basic stuff. Mine came with some little covers for these, but the covers make it too hard to hit the bumper buttons on the side. So I will probably never have a cover on this. So, with that being said, you have the Joy-Cons. Joy-Cons are nice, they're fun, they're cool to play with. It was a lot of fun playing 1-2 Switch with my wife, which leaves the nice tiny little tablet looking like that. So, Joy-Cons, I've had none of the issues with syncing. Granted, I don't have anything for it to wirelessly interfere with. And that's what Nintendo is saying most of the issues have been. You can put the Joy-Cons, so you can use them for motion controls, because it has the gyros and everything like that. But most of the time, I'm not using even this. Which this is nice and all. It feels a little too close together to me, and it's very hard for me to feel like I'm playing a console. It's fine when the Joy-Cons are mounted on the tablet. Like, that feels perfectly fine to me. But this little Joy-Con dock here, the comfort grip, doesn't feel natural for me at all. So, it's either on there, or we're using the individuals for 1-2 Switch, or I'm using the Pro Controller. Which I will tell you, this Pro Controller is phenomenal. It feels wonderful in the hands. It feels a lot like a slightly different designed Xbox One controller. Battery life on it is great. It still has the screenshot buttons. It still has all the buttons that you would have by using the Switch as a tablet. Docking it is pretty easy. However, there have been some reports that it does get some scratches when you dock it on the screen. I have a screen protector on mine. And as you see, I have little covers over the top, which just add an extra layer of grip to when I'm playing games on it. But I got this, which came with all that stuff. And this is just in case I want to take the Switch with me. And it's Zelda's tunic. Or Link's tunic. It's from Zelda. don't want to trigger anyone. And I know that's a triggerable offense. But I would strongly recommend, if you want to sit down and you want to play Zelda and really enjoy Zelda, and you plan on playing it on the big screen instead of the tablet, get the Pro Controller. Once they have actual games starting to come out, like if they have a nice solid first-person shooter, that Pro Controller is going to be what I'm going to play with. Except for unless I'm playing it on the go or sitting in bed with my wife and she's watching something on the TV, then I'll be using it like this. Every other time I will probably be using that Pro Controller. Zelda does suffer some frame rate issues when you dock the tablet though. So the 1080p looks gorgeous. You will run into a little bit of stuttering here and there, which doesn't really shock me too much because this is running an NVIDIA K processor. I believe it's the K1 or the K2. I don't know which one. But it's essentially just a beefier Shield tablet. And it's nice. I mean, it's a really impressive console. The game cards are super tiny. And I mean super tiny. Like, they're almost no bigger than a micro SD. They're just a little bit longer than a micro SD and a little bit thicker than a micro SD with a lot of pin space. The Joy-Con straps are pretty easy to get onto for when you're playing. A lot of people are complaining they're having issues with this. I really have not been having any issues with even these. And these make it a lot easier to play 1-2 switch. 1-2 switch is a lot of fun too. I do feel 1-2 switch should have came bundled with the console. I get it. They're trying to say that they were saving money. But if you want people to invest and buy your new console, it would have been good faith to include that game. Every other Nintendo console has had some kind of special little tech demo to show off their new tech. This time around they sold it, and it was called 1-2 Switch. Breath of the Wild, though, is definitely the must-play game. Fast RMX is really good as well. I refuse to rebuy I Am Setsuna, and I'm also not a huge JRPG fan, but I hear it is very good. And I also am boycotting Konami due to what they did to Hideo Kojima, so I've been unable to play Bomberman, or I would have reviewed that as well, which I will have some game reviews coming for you soon. I do still feel their launch lineup was extremely light, but they have a lot of stuff coming within the year, and within the very first couple of months after launch window, to where I still feel it justifies the $300 of this console. It feels extremely premium. It's very nicely weighted. It cools very well. So it's not like I'm sitting there like, God, this tablet's getting really hot. No, they did take a lot of consideration into how they built this. It does feel very nice. I mean, that's the thing that normally Nintendo is very good on. The quality of their product always tends to be very solid. Even if you look at the quality of the Wii U, it was still a very solid product, and they tend to do very well at offering it at those lower price points, which I get it. A lot of you say, oh, $300 is too much. Xbox One released at $500. The PlayStation 3 released at $600 if you wanted the decent bundle. This is a bargain. No matter how you look at it, this was a very good deal. I feel they released it at a very decent price point. I just feel 1-2 Switch should have been included at that price point. And I think Breath of the Wild is a strong enough title to really carry this console at release. If you had to launch with one strong title, this game is probably the most flawless game I've ever seen Nintendo release. And that's saying a lot, because Nintendo releases some very high quality games. But I think that game is strong enough to carry their launch lineup at least until next month, when you start to get the Mario Kart, Binding of Isaac. And I get a lot of those are very indie, refurbished games that are coming, but I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed with this machine or with the capabilities that it offers, especially when you take into account you're able to play this thing as a portable. And the screen's beautiful. The screen looks awesome on the portable. I would buy it. I don't see any reason to hesitate, especially if you're a Zelda fan. If you like the Zelda games, or maybe you've never really even gotten into the Zelda games or never really played much Zelda, you should definitely jump on board now, because this is easily their most complex Zelda game ever. This is the hardest one I've ever played. I don't normally die very often in Zelda. I've died a bunch. I mean, like a bunch. And a lot of it comes down to managing your resources, whether it be your food or whether it be your weapons, because your weapons deteriorate over time. But that is a conversation for when I actually do my Zelda review, which will be coming up soon. But guys, thanks for watching. I hope none of you are hesitating on picking up the Switch, and I hope all of the ones who have picked it up are thoroughly enjoying it. I think it's an awesome console, and I think there's a lot of potential here. So, but guys, stay tuned. You can always check out the description box if you want more content or want more ways to follow me. It's been a pleasure, and I'll have plenty more coming for you very soon.